Good morning. I want to begin with a simple question. Have you ever looked in the mirror and said, I'm not who I want to be? Maybe it was after a mistake, a broken promise, a missed opportunity, a failed goal. Again, it's a hard moment. It's a human moment. And here's the truth, you're not broken. You're becoming. Every single day you wake up is not just another 24 hours. It's a reset button, a clean page, a new shot at becoming the person you were meant to be. Every day we wake up, we set new goals, envision new outcomes, and dream of becoming something more than we were yesterday. We tell ourselves, this is the day, I'm going to do it this time, I'm going to change. And with that, we launch ourselves into the pursuit of these grand, life-altering goals, losing 50 pounds, quitting smoking, making $1 million. The ambition feels right, the excitement is real, but then over time, the enthusiasm fades. The scale doesn't move, the cigarettes come back, and the savings account doesn't grow as fast as we thought it would. And when this happens, we feel defeated, asking ourselves, why can't I do this? Why am I failing? Maybe I'm just not that kind of person. Here's the thing, it's not that you're incapable. It's not that you're broken. It's simply that we often misunderstand how change happens. The truth is, change doesn't come from wishful thinking or from some massive leap from where we are to where we want to be. Change happens when we focus on something far more powerful than perfection progress. The difference between success and failure is often less about the destination and more about the journey. What if we stopped obsessing over this grand, perfect version of ourselves that we're supposed to become? What if we accepted that we don't have to achieve everything right now, but instead focused on getting just a little bit better day by day? James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, reminds us that we do not rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. In other words, the way we get there isn't by aiming for perfection, but by committing to a system that supports small, continuous improvements. It's about building habits that compound over time. Instead of setting a goal to be perfect, we set the goal to improve just 1% today, knowing that over time that 1% improvement can lead to exponential growth. Think about it. If you're just 1% better today than you were yesterday, then in 1 year, you will be 37 times better than you are right now. That's not some pie in the sky idealism. It's math, it's science, it's reality. It's attainable. Imagine how powerful this idea is. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the sheer size of the change you want to make, you can focus on the small steps. But you don't need to lose 50 pounds all at once. Start by moving your body for 10 minutes today. You don't need to stop smoking cold turkey. How about cutting down by 1 cigarette per day? You don't need to make $1 million tomorrow. But what if you set aside a small amount for savings every week? You see, perfection is the enemy of progress. The pressure to achieve everything in one go often paralyzes us into inaction. And we start believing that if we can't achieve the big, bold goal, then there's no point in even trying. But progress doesn't care how small the steps are. It only cares that you keep moving forward. And think about any successful person you know. They didn't achieve their success overnight. They didn't jump from one extreme to another. They built it over time, piece by piece, choice by choice, one small habit at a time. The process is what allowed them to sustain that success and make real, lasting change. And it's no different for you. I remember a conversation I had with a close friend of mine, Sarah. She had been struggling for months with her fitness. She had set a big goal to lose 30 pounds. But every time she started, she would get discouraged because the progress felt too slow. It was as if the goal was so distant that it wasn't worth pursuing, so she gave up repeatedly. But one day, after a long conversation, I asked her to do something simple. Instead of focusing on the 30 pounds, focus on today. Go for a walk for 10 minutes. That's it. No need to run a marathon, just 10 minutes. She agreed, and to her surprise, that 10-minute walk became 15 minutes, then 20, and eventually she was regularly working out 3 times a week. It wasn't about perfection, it was about small, consistent actions. And over the next year, she lost the weight, not because she pushed herself to extremes, but because she focused on progress, not perfection. Every day you have the opportunity to make progress, no matter how small it may seem. And don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of yourself. Start with today. Start with one small action. Because it's the compound effect of those small actions that will lead you to the change you desire. Remember, progress is more powerful than perfection, and as you keep improving just a little bit each day, you'll realize that not only is the change you seek possible, it's inevitable. A few years ago, I had a friend named Adam. He was at a point in his life where everything seemed to be falling apart. He had a job he loved, or at least he once did, but over time he started slipping. He was late to work too often, missing deadlines, overwhelmed by the demands of his role. The stress piled up and he started burning out. He turned unhealthy habits, drinking too much, sleeping too little, trying to cope with the weight of it all. He hit rock bottom and eventually got fired from the job he had once cared so deeply about. When I saw him a few weeks later, I could feel the shame and regret pouring off him. He looked at me with this deep sadness in his eyes and said, "I ruined everything. I can't come back from this." His voice trembled as if the weight of his failure was unbearable. In that moment, it seemed like he was ready to give up, convinced that his past mistakes had sealed his future. But here's the thing, it wasn't the end, it was only the beginning of his turnaround. Adam didn't immediately find the perfect solution or suddenly transform into someone else. No, it was much more subtle and much more powerful than that. He made the decision not to deny his regret, but to use it as a signal for change. He woke up a little earlier each day, just 30 minutes. It wasn't a drastic shift, but it was enough. He started a new habit. He picked up a journal and wrote down one lesson he had learned that day. He reflected on his choices, on what went wrong, and more importantly, what he could do better next time. And over time, something incredible happened. He began to build momentum. He wasn't looking for some big transformative moment. He was simply improving a little each day, using the regret as a guidance to help him change his course. A year later, Adam found a new job, one that was an even better fit for him. He wasn't just doing the work, he was thriving. Today, he leads a team of 40 people. He didn't just recover, he reinvented himself. And the key to that wasn't in denying his mistakes, but in using them as stepping stones to build a new future. So why am I telling you this story? Because regret is not a prison. It's a compass. It's a signal. It shows us what really matters to us. Regret is often framed as something we should avoid, something that weighs us down. We think of it as a punishment, a reminder that we failed, that we made mistakes. But regret, if we're willing to look at it from a different perspective, isn't something that defines us. It's something that guides us. Think about it. If you regret yelling at your kids last night, it's not a mark of your failure as a parent. It's proof that you care deeply about your relationship with them. It's a signal that you want to do better, to be more patient, more understanding. If you regret spending hours on social media instead of writing that book you've been talking about for years, it's not a condemnation of your worth. It's a signal that the story inside you is real, that it matters, and that you're ready to stop wasting time on distractions. Regret doesn't have to bury you. It doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning of a new chapter. But here's the catch. How you respond to regret is what will determine your future. You can choose to let it drown you in self-pity, or you can choose to let it inspire you to change, to grow, and to move forward. We all make mistakes. We all fall short of the person we aspire to be sometimes. But the secret is this: when we can face our regret with honesty and vulnerability, we can use it to build a better version of ourselves. It's the kind of growth that doesn't happen overnight, but when it does happen, it's real. It's lasting. I think the most powerful thing we can do with our regret is to not be afraid of it. We don't have to hide from it or pretend it doesn't exist. We don't have to carry it as a heavy burden. We can look it in the eye and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this pain to guide me, to shape me, to make me better? Because regret doesn't make you weak. It shows you what you care about. It shows you what you need to fix, what you need to change, and what you need to focus on. And if you're willing to listen to it, to learn from it, regret can become one of the most powerful tools for transformation in your life. Regret can either bury you or it can build you. The choice is yours. How you choose to respond to it will shape who you become. How many times have you said to yourself, I'm just not a morning person? Or perhaps I'm terrible with money, or I can't change. This is just who I am. These are labels we give ourselves. They become part of our identity, almost like an excuse to stay the same, to not push past our comfort zone. But here's the truth that so many of us overlook. Identity is not something you discover like treasure. It's something you build one decision at a time. Think about it for a moment. We tend to think that people who achieve extraordinary things must have some innate talent, some preordained identity that sets them apart from the rest of us. But that's not the case. The runner who wakes up at 5 a.m. to train didn't start off loving those early morning jogs. They didn't wake up one day and think, I'm a morning person now. They made a decision to get up one morning at a time, despite how difficult it was at first. Over time, that choice became a habit, and that habit shaped who they became. Or consider the author who wrote that best-selling novel. They didn't wake up one day with a completed manuscript in hand. No, they started with a blank page, the same way every writer does. They didn't know if anyone would ever read their words, but they showed up. They wrote every day, even when the words didn't flow, even when they doubted themselves. They built their identity through the action of writing, not by waiting for the perfect moment or some miraculous burst of inspiration. Then there's the parent who seems to have it all together. The one who always knows what to say, who balances work, life, and family effortlessly. But I can guarantee you they didn't start there. They didn't wake up one day with all the answers. They were scared too. They worried they were doing it wrong. They made mistakes, and some days they still do. The difference is they showed up, they kept learning, kept trying, and through that consistent action, they built the identity of someone who could handle it all, even if they didn't feel that way at first. This is the secret we often miss. You don't become confident and then act. You act, and through that action, you build confidence. The courage doesn't come before the action, it comes from doing the thing that scares you. Every small step, every decision to show up, even when you don't feel ready, adds a layer to who you are. Over time, that action becomes the foundation of your identity. I know someone who used to say, "I'm not a leader." They'd say it with certainty, as if it was an unchangeable truth about themselves. But when they started to take on small responsibilities at work, when they took the initiative to help a colleague or share their ideas in a meeting, something shifted. Slowly, their actions began to shape their sense of self. They started thinking, maybe I can lead. Maybe I can make a difference. Over time, they grew into the leader they never thought they could be. They didn't start by identifying themselves as a leader, they acted like one first. And through that action, they created the identity they now carry. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "This is just who I am," challenge that thought. Stop thinking of your identity as something static, something you're stuck with. Your identity is not fixed. It is built through the decisions you make, the actions you take, and the habits you form. And it's not a quick process. It's one small decision at a time. It's showing up when it's hard, even when you're unsure, even when you feel like you're not good enough. We often ask ourselves, who am I? But that's the wrong question. The question we should be asking is, who am I becoming? Because who you are is always in flux. Every day you're either moving closer to the person you want to be or further away from it. And the only way to move closer is to start taking action. This is the moment when you have the power to decide who you're going to be. Are you going to let the labels you've given yourself hold you back? Or are you going to take small, consistent actions to build the identity you want? When are you going to continue telling yourself that you're not good enough? Or are you going to take the first step towards the person you want to become? You have the power to create the life you want. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or hoping for a miracle. It's about showing up day after day and building the person you were meant to be, one choice at a time. The journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. And every time you act, every time you push through the fear and self-doubt, you're not just doing the work, you're creating yourself. We live in a world obsessed with instant success. Everywhere you look, there's someone sharing their viral story, boasting about an overnight transformation or flashing their before and after photos. The narrative we're sold is that success is fast. It's a quick fix, a shortcut to everything we want. And yet, deep down, we know life doesn't work that way. True success isn't something that happens in a single moment, and real change doesn't come from a quick transformation. The most meaningful growth is gradual, sometimes painfully slow, and often messy along the way. Let's take a moment to think about nature. Look at the tallest tree you've ever seen. It didn't start as a towering, magnificent structure. It began as a small seed buried in the earth. It didn't leap straight into the sky. It pushed through the dirt, fought its way up inch by inch, and weathered countless storms along the way. It grew over the course of many years, sometimes slowly, sometimes through moments of struggle, but always moving forward. The tree didn't rush. It didn't expect to be perfect. It simply focused on taking the next step. And you are no different. You too are growing, changing, and becoming the person you're meant to be, even if it doesn't always feel like it. We often get caught up in the pressure of having everything figured out right now. We feel the weight of time as if we need to accomplish it all at once. But here's the truth. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't have to become the perfect version of yourself in one go. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to take the next step. That's it. One step forward, no matter how small. The rest will follow. Let's break this down. Want to get healthy? You don't need to sign up for an intense fitness program or overhaul your entire lifestyle all at once. Just go for a 10-minute walk. That's it. It may not seem like much, but it's a start. It's one decision that moves you closer to your goal. Want to rebuild trust with someone you've hurt. I don't try to fix everything at once. Simply say, I'm sorry and mean it. One small, honest step in the right direction. Want to find your purpose. You don't need to know exactly what you're meant to do in life. Try something new. Step outside your comfort zone. Fail boldly and learn from that failure. Each small effort you make leads you closer to the person you're meant to become. Every morning, life hands you a pen and says, write a better ending today. It's a chance, a second chance. Every single day is an opportunity to rewrite your story, to move forward and leave the mistakes of yesterday behind. We often get so caught up in the idea of perfection, in thinking that each day is a final exam we have to pass, but it's not. Life is not a test where if you fail, it's all over. It's a process, it's a journey. And every single day gives you the opportunity to improve, to grow, to do better. And think about how many times you've looked back at something you did, a conversation, a decision, an action, and thought, I wish I had handled that differently. We've all been there, but the beauty is you don't have to carry that regret with you. You don't have to let it define you. You have today. Every new day is a fresh start, a new page in your story where you get to decide who you are and who you want to become. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect plan. The biggest mistake we make is waiting for the right time or the perfect circumstances. But here's the truth. There's no such thing as the perfect time. The right time is now. The right plan is the one you begin, not the one you wait for. You just need to take that first step. And from there, the next step will follow. Think about someone you admire, someone who's achieved something great. They didn't get there overnight. They didn't get there by waiting for the stars to align. They got there by showing up every day, by taking one step after another, even when it felt like nothing was happening. And it was those small, consistent actions that built the foundation for their success. Every day, life hands you a new chance to be better than you were yesterday. It's a chance to make a decision, to take a step, to make progress. The road to where you want to go is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about showing up, even when you're unsure of the outcome. It's about trusting that by taking one step today, you'll be closer tomorrow. You are not expected to be perfect. You're expected to try. And every time you try, you grow. So stop treating every day like a final exam. Instead, treat it as what it truly is, another opportunity to take the next step toward who you want to become. There's no need to wait for the perfect moment. Every moment is your chance to start. So pick up the pen, write your next chapter, and keep moving forward. You have everything you need to succeed, one step at a time. And let me ask you one more time, who do you want to become? I want you to really think about that for a moment. To think about the person you're striving to be, the version of yourself that feels most aligned with who you truly are, the person who's confident, the one who takes risks, the one who pushes through fear and doubt. But no, who is that person to you? The reality is, no matter where you are today, you're just one sunrise away from starting. One new day, one new opportunity, one new chance to step closer to the person you want to be. It doesn't matter if yesterday was a struggle or if last year didn't go according to plan. Today is all you have, and it's all you need to begin again. I know there's a temptation to wait until everything is perfect. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I'm ready, but here's the truth. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment because that moment doesn't exist. Life doesn't work that way. It's not about waiting for the right time. It's about making the time right. It's about taking action, no matter how small, and trusting that you'll figure it out as you go. You don't have to be perfect. None of us are. The person you want to become won't be perfect, and neither will the path to get there. There will be mistakes. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you feel like you're not making progress. But the key is to keep going. It's about showing up every day, even when things aren't easy. It's about knowing that progress, not perfection, is what matters. Every single step you take today, no matter how small, is a step closer to becoming the person you want to be. And that's what I want you to understand. Today is not too late. So many of us get stuck in the idea that we've missed our chance. We look at others who have achieved what we want and think, it's too late for me. But the truth is, every day is a chance to start fresh. Every day is a new opportunity to make a different choice, to take a different step, to be someone different, someone better. There's no expiration date on becoming who you're meant to be. The only thing that will keep you from getting there is the belief that you're too late to try. You see, this isn't about fixing yourself because you're broken. It's about realizing that you are worth rebuilding. Life isn't a straight path. It's filled with twists, turns, and challenges. But that's the beauty of it. Each setback, each failure, each mistake is simply an opportunity to rebuild. You're not broken. You're just in the process of becoming something stronger, something more resilient. Life will knock you down, but it's what you do after that matters most. You have the power to rise again, to keep moving forward, to rebuild yourself into the person you're meant to be. And it doesn't stop after one rebuild. You can keep rebuilding yourself again and again. Every day offers a new chance to grow, to improve, to evolve. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is that you get up, you keep learning, and you keep moving forward. You're worthy of the work it takes to become who you truly are, and you are capable of doing it over and over again because the journey is never about perfection. It's about persistence, it's about commitment, and most importantly, it's about never giving up on yourself. So today, I want you to think about this. What's the first step you can take right now? What's one thing you can do today to start moving closer to the person you want to become? And don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Take that first step, no matter how small it may seem. Because once you take it, the next one will come easier, and the one after that. You're one sunrise away from starting. You're one decision away from change. You don't need permission to start. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to believe that today is your opportunity to make a change, because every day is a chance to fix yourself, to rebuild yourself, to grow. And every step you take is a step toward who you are becoming. So again, who do you want to become? The answer isn't somewhere in the future. It's right here, right now, in the decisions you make today. You are worth the effort, and you are capable of creating the life you want. Thank you.